You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Since 1999, the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run has been contributing millions of dollars to the health and welfare of Jamaican children. The event has become the largest 5K in the Caribbean, and thousands of people converge in New Kingston to participate in this event. Business Access TV is here, and I'm Javon Keys, and my co-host Jamila Maitland will join us a little later on. As you can tell, the sun is already out and the race is already underway.
What was the extent of planning that went into executing an event like this?
We've been planning Sigma for about a year now. The last 3 weeks are probably the most hectic of all. But, you know, we have over 300 volunteers that contribute to the success of this, including our sponsors. The group marketing department is the engine behind Sigma Run, and I mean, it's the hardest job we do all year, but it's the most rewarding as well. As you can imagine, there are several lists of persons who are in need, and basically the Sagicor Foundation board eventually makes the ultimate decision, but the decision is made mostly on the need of each of the beneficiaries, who has the greatest need. We tend to focus a lot on health and the health of children for the Sigma Run. So over the years, we've supported a lot of neonatal units, a lot of companies or hospitals that support children as well. So that is a major part of the decision making when it comes to choosing the beneficiaries, but the ultimate decision is made by the board of the Sagicor Foundation. Dearest to our heart, I think this year is the Lupus Foundation. Our Startline MC died from lupus, and so we felt that the Lupus Foundation would have been a good beneficiary to have this year. The Diabetes Foundation is also one of our beneficiaries. We don't pay a lot of attention to diabetes in Jamaica, so we decided that they would be also a good option, you know, for us to support. They need the support, they need some backing, and the Maypen Hospital neonatal unit, we have been there, we visit the hospitals, and we have seen I wouldn't call it deplorable, but there is great need in our public health system. And so I think, you know, those are all very deserving charities this year, and Sagicor is happy to stand behind them. I think we did a pretty good execution. We had a clean execution. I can't complain. There is no way to avoid the hours. We try our best. I mean, every year we try to do something a little different, set up the start line a little earlier, you know. But we have a lot of support. We have a lot of support from our sponsors. We have a lot of support from the technical people around us. I think we did a pretty smooth, not perfectly flawless, but we did a very good execution. We're proud of what we did. We're happy it's over. 27,000 people registered there, the most in the history of Sigma, and we've also raised the most we've ever raised, 52 odd million for our charities. So we're pleased. We think we did a good job. You can still donate. You can visit the Sagicor Sigma Run website, or you can call the Sagicor Foundation 1-888-SAGICOR and ask how you can donate. That is the number for our contact care center. They will put you onto the Sagicor Foundation, and you can still make a donation after today.
So with me now is one of the celebrity faces for the Sigma Corporate Run, Mr. Johan Blake. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling good this morning.
So share with us, why did you choose to contribute to the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run?
You know, the first time I contributed, Sagicor made the highest money, and they know that I have good luck, so they brought me back. And I'm here not just because of that, but to save life. It's a great cause for me to walk with Sagicor on this long journey.
So what would you say to other persons who may be thinking about contributing?
I said, don't think, just act.
Thanks for staying tuned to BATV's coverage of the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run 2019, the largest 5K in the Caribbean. Stay tuned for more happenings.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
We're here with Dayton Lawton, who was one of the very first contestants to finish the race. What was your perception going into the race?
Well, I do this race every year, and I'm always happy to do it. I think Sagicor has done a great job growing the race every year. It's 27,000 contestants ran this year. The management was great, and I felt good running this race today. Chris and the CEOs of Sagicor in the past have always been very astute about what they're doing with the money. So it's not just giving to a cause and you don't find out how these funds are actually being utilized. You shared a story about going to the hospital and giving them ventilation machines for infants. And it's always very important to understand how your money is benefiting the community.
What would you say to somebody who probably missed this year's Sagicor?
If you missed it and you can't be here, I would say still contribute. You don't necessarily need to run, but if you have an opportunity to give towards a cause.
So how was the race?
Apart from the bobbing and weaving, it was absolutely wonderful. You can see we're out of breath.
So tell us, why was it important for you and your team to come out to support the Sigma Corporate Run?
It's a part of our corporate social responsibility. We believe in giving back. We sell gas and we rely on the public to support our business, and we believe in giving back. So we thought this was a worthy cause to do that.
Well, this is my 5th time doing Sigma, and I didn't really train, but it was okay. Yeah, started Jamaica.
And you? I started Jamaica. It was fun, and even though it's my first time, I enjoyed it a lot.
Run was wonderful. It's my once-a-year exercise, and I've been doing this for the past 5 years. I think it was good, so that's it for my exercise for the year.
It's my first time, and it's a really great experience. You know, I'm a track and field athlete, so I'm just preparing for a wonderful season.
Of course, adults are not the only persons who participate in Sagicor's Sigma Corporate Run. We also have the children. Could you tell Mazida, what do you think about the race?
I think it was long and it was very tiring, but I managed to finish.
You're here with your siblings. What do they think of the race?
Well, it was tiring. I do track and field, but this was really exhausting, and my legs hurt now. So.
Nice. What was your position in the race? Do you know?
Well, the race was all right, but I gave up a few times, but I still made it.
Nice. Thank you.
Guys, they're representing the Jamaicans for Justice. How was the race for you?
You know, it was all right. A bit disappointed this year, but you know, next year we're coming back bigger and better. Time of about 37, not feeling too happy about that, but you know, still good.
How about you?
Well, it was good, but I was expecting sub 30, but 33, 42 could have been better though.
Of course, other than the fact that we're supporting the hospital project, I have to be running today because we're running for a cause. We all ran for justice today. And of course, I know my time is going to be very impressive. It's below 30. I'm not quite sure what the time is just for. But of course, we came out and we ran for justice, and I'm very pleased for that today.
So the Lupus Foundation will be one of the beneficiaries of the Sagicor Sigma Run this year.
It's awesome. Like every year they go for something different. And this year we're doing this for Elvar. We're doing this for the people who lost the fight and who's still going on and still pushing basically.
What do you say to somebody who probably doesn't know much about Sagicor Corporate Run and the beneficiaries and what it is that they're going for? What would you tell somebody?
Even if you don't run, just go ahead. Pay the money, make a donation, buy something. Like my lace, I just went ahead and just bought the shoelace just because.
Tell us what you thought about the race.
So it was a very good race and I really appreciated it. It's always good to run for charity because helping other persons, that's the way to go, And it was a really good race for me. I really did more than what I expected. So it's an awesome one.
Going into the race, what was your perception and what do you think after?
Funnily enough, I thought this was a 5K and at the end I realized it was a 5.5. So at that point I was really beat. But it was an awesome feeling and it's great to be supporting this cause. Big ups to Sagicor. I look forward to the next 5K.
One of the top running athletes last year. What was your perception coming into the race this year?
Well, I didn't think I was going to make it, honestly, but I decided I really wanted to do it and to do it better. But I thought that this year the race seemed shorter, so I must have got some extra energy, which I don't know where it came from.
The race is more like a fitness for you, or is it something that you normally do every year?
I've done it 3 years. This is my 3rd year, but I do a lot of walking every day.
So did you actually run with the babies on you like this?
About 2.5 Ks. Look what it says here.
Was that Daddy's cardio?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think about the race?
It was fabulous. The water stops were strategically placed. Everything went well. First time for the babies, about the 5th time for me.
That was a short bit from some of the runners and walkers here at the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Run. Stay with us for more highlights.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
So as you would imagine, a number of groups would have come out to participate in the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. We're about to hear from some of them. All right, so Jay, so what size team you have here today? Did the whole office come out?
Well, approximately 50% of our staff. We have in excess of 30 people here today from JAA.
Great, so why was it important for you guys to come out and support this cause?
Well, for one, JN Group overall has been a long-standing supporter of Sigma and the Jamaica Automobile Union Association. We specialize in mobility and moving people, so we want to ensure that our people are moving as well.
How is this in line with your corporate social responsibility?
Well, we are about giving back, and the cause of the whole Sigma is about giving back, so it falls in line with what we are about.
So with me now is Suzette Morrison. She's the team captain with Wisynca Group. So tell us, why was it important for Wisynca to participate in the Sigma Corporate Run 2019?
Well, the Sigma Corporate Run signifies helping other companies and helping the sick and needy. And Wisynca, being the innovators, we always want to ensure that we play our corporate role and a corporate social responsibility to be a part of the good.
So did you run this morning?
No, unfortunately, I was here setting up to ensure that the team was okay, and they came out, 150 strong. We came out and we participated, and they had fun.
This definitely is a worthy cause, and giving back is an important thing for corporate companies such as ourselves. So participation and support for the obvious cause is very important.
Seems like you have a very large team. What's the number?
I think we're over 120 thereabout.
For me, it was a walk in the park.
Very easy, very easy.
How important was it for you to participate in this run?
Well, we do it for a cause, we do it every year, and we think it is extremely relevant at this time.
Plus, it also helps us to remain healthy.
All right, so there you have it from some of our educators representing the JTA here at the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run 2019. So after having such an early start this morning, Jamila and I were just getting a chance to catch up. So from what I've been seeing, the race has been going very good. There are thousands of people out. It's probably the largest year of Sigma Corporate Run, because for the years I've been seeing it, every year it gets bigger and better, right, Jam?
A little birdie actually told me that it's actually 27,000 persons who registered, and they might have even passed their $52 million mark.
Well, but that's great, because Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run is all about corporate social responsibility and helping to ensure the welfare of our nation's children. So it's always a great cause. Number of companies out, a number of groups, a number of individuals. We saw persons from different ages, from very small to very old, and they're going. So it was a good day, wouldn't you agree?
Of course it was. It really, I can't believe. I think the entire Jamaica is here right now at Emancipation Park.
Certainly, Jam, it was an extraordinary morning. Though we had to wake up very early to be here. It was great, right?
It really was.
All right, so we're going to take a break right now, and then we're going to head to the stage to see our winners for the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. Stay tuned.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up a Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
So, Ms. Walker, tell us, why does Sagicor keep doing this every single year since 1999?
So it has been 21 years that Sagicor Foundation has been solidly behind the charities to really give back. Healthcare is a big thing for our brand, and we always want to find and identify those needs that really have a big impact on Jamaican lives. So this year we've identified the Diabetes Foundation of Jamaica, Lupus Foundation of Jamaica, and also the Mapen Hospital, specifically the neonatal intensive care unit.
Have you been seeing the impact of the contributions you've been making?
Oh yes, we have. Certainly over the years we've made so many different contributions to various different sectors in the health area, and also in terms of children. We do support children causes as well. Last year we supported St. Christopher's Home for the Deaf. We supported the Spanish Town Hospital. So we try to touch every single pocket of the Ministry of Health as well too, because that is a major area that really impacts a lot of Jamaicans' lives on a daily basis.
So, Principal would ask, why focus on children?
I mean, the children are the future. It's cliche, but it's actually real. If we actually focus on our children and we actually focus on the future and making that future so much better, brighter for our children. And we can't be selfish. We always have to continue to pay it forward, and so that we know that Jamaica will be a better place.
So how do you rate 2019 for the Sagicor Sigma run?
Oh God, 2019 has been amazing. It has been awesome. It has been off the chain. So this year we've broken 2 records. So last year we had a record-breaking 26,000 participants. This year we've got up to 27,000 persons. And also we shattered our record in terms of the target. So our target last year was 50 million. This year it's 52, and we went over a bit, so we did $52,400,000. So we are absolutely proud as a team to be able to give back so much to Jamaica.
Certainly. So what can we expect for 2020?
I mean, we're going to start planning right now, and in true Sagicor strong style, we're going to come bigger, we're going to come better, and we're always going to be looking for that next needy cause. And there's so many causes in Jamaica that need funding and need support. So look out for us, we're coming.
Congratulations to the winner, Alfonso Collingham. On the clap of Alfonso, please.
How does it feel to become the first place winner for the male wheelchairers in the Sagicor Sigma run this year?
It's a great feeling, but I'm doing Sigma for a couple of years now. So to be, the winner this time around again, it's a wonderful feeling. And I'm happy I'm doing it for, a worthy cause and so forth. So that's why I try to push out the necessary effort to be here.
Put your hands together. Sylvia, we're friends long time. Long time, Sylvia. Congratulations.
You placed first this year and last year, 5 years in a row. So tell me, how does that feel? What level of training or intensity of the training does it feel?
We have a cart where we run, we push it like we and run it in the grass every day.
How important is it for persons to participate in runs like these?
It's good because when we're out there, people can see us and see that anything they can do, we can do it too.
Describe to us, what's the feeling becoming the first place winner of this year's Sagicor Sigma run?
It's a great feeling, and this is my second year doing it.
Would you describe to us, what was the run in general? What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it?
I like the fun run part. We have the foam and all those stuff, and the fact that we're supporting charities. So yeah, it was a good run.
What was your time?
19 minutes and 2 seconds.
Male overall, his time, ridiculous. 19 minutes, 32 seconds. Will you clap up, Caroline, please? Hello, hi.
I came 4th overall and 2nd for corporate.
Everybody just give me
I
a
represent
clap like
Separate Limited, and this is not my first event, but it's a wonderful event. I enjoyed it.
We are here with Odain Davidson, the first place winner in the under 16 category. Tell us, how does it feel?
It is hard, yeah, very hard. And yeah, I get competition in it, and yeah, it was a good race.
Is this your first time doing it, and what's your time?
I don't know my time yet, but it's not the first time I'm doing it.
My name is Anna K. Swaby, and I'm representing Chiselfit, and I came first in the female walk.
How was that for you?
It was, I'm going to be honest with you, it was a bit challenging, but I managed to maneuver the crowd and came first. So it was very good, but challenging.
So clearly this isn't your first time doing a 5K walk, because it takes a particular technique, right?
No, it hasn't been my first 5K, but my first Sigma. And my goal was just come here, come first. That was it.
But separate and apart from you coming to compete, I'm sure there must be another reason why you came here to represent.
Of course, there's another reason. The number one reason, of course, is doing it for the cause. That's the most important thing. So me coming first is just a bonus, right? So just going out there, doing what I can do for those persons who can't do it themselves, and hoping that I inspire somebody else to come on out and support the cause.
So you said this was your first year. Will we see you next year?
Of course.
So I know that this is something that you do. We saw you at the True Juice Orchards last year, and you're here again. How was this one for you?
Well, this one was a record break when walk for me. You know, I'm improving each year, and I really came out here to get the record of 28 minutes. I did it, and I'm very happy. I'm looking for greater things. You know, I want to see myself out there representing Jamaica internationally. This is my 3rd year winning it also. The first year, 2017, I did 30 minutes. Last year, 29. This year, 28.
So will you be back next year?
Definitely. All things being well.
All right, thank you so much and congratulations. As much as we didn't get a chance to run, we actually finished the race, right, Jam?
We did.
So that brings us to the end of our 2019 coverage of the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. I've been your host, Javon Keys.
And I'm Jamila Maitland.
And you've been tuned into Business Access TV. Serious about business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's Season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Before you head out to do your back-to-school shopping, do an inventory to see if you have supplies at home that can still be used. You should also do book exchange and most definitely compare prices. Continue watching the show for more tips from the Consumer Affairs Commission. Hello, I'm Sandra Clark. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, August 8. Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw has announced an increase in the cocoa price payable to farmers. The price per box will move from $2,600 to $3,000. Minister Shaw made the announcement on Monday during the 67th Annual Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show in Maypen, Clarendon.
The price has gone up, but we're not stopping there. We have to grow more. And the same thing with our coffee as well.
He also announced that the current measures being implemented to manage and control the outbreak of the frosty pod rot of cocoa disease would be revamped. This includes placing a stop on the current process of pruning the cocoa plants, which destroys approximately 90% of the tree.
I have ordered it stopped. Stopped. You know why? Because there is technology elsewhere, including Colombia. And since I ordered it stopped, I sent a team to Colombia. They pruned the tree no more than 10%. And they have found a way to control the frosty pod disease.
More work is underway this year to build and expand schools in order to eliminate the shift system and relieve overcrowding.
Already started this year are the following schools that are being attended to. The Cedric Titus High, the Exchange All-Age School, Mushet High, Albert Town High, Old Harbor High, and Friendship Primary.
Minister Carl Samuda, who was giving his sectoral presentation in Parliament recently, said all schools would be removed from the system by 2024. To end the shift system in the remaining 37 schools, he said 13 of them would require expansion, while 10 new high schools and 7 primary schools were needed. In the meantime, government is this year recruiting more special education teachers to meet the growing needs of students with special needs. In addition, $1.2 billion has been allocated to the Special Education Unit, which makes provisions for students with various physical and learning impairments.
The Special Education Unit operates a Braille and large print program which reproduces print material for persons who are blind or visually impaired, which is an enormously important program. Large print services are also available for students who have deficiencies in vision in regular schools.
Students with special needs are educated in the general school setting or in public, grant-aided or independent special education institutions. Support is also given to community-based organizations that offer early intervention and community-based rehabilitation to students with disabilities. The Consumer Affairs Commission is urging persons to be diligent in their back-to-school shopping. Communications specialist at the Commission, Dorothy Campbell, says while going the route of one-stop shopping is convenient, it is not always the best way. She was speaking on JIS's Current Affairs program, Get the Facts, recently.
The first thing that the Consumer Affairs Commission advises parents to do is to shop at home first. So you do your research at home, because going out to shop means that you would have done your comparative shopping. You've already located the best prices, where you're going to buy what.
Ms. Campbell says the Consumer Affairs Commission is currently preparing its annual textbook survey. This includes going through the approved list from the Ministry of Education to ensure it matches book lists that are issued by schools.
Or field officers or survey officers go to the bookstores to verify availability and price. Once we have done that, we then determine the publication. It will be published partially on our website at www.cac.gov.jm, and we are hoping to partner with some publications to ensure that consumers are able to get that. But we say to parents, they can call us.
Improvements to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's offices and facilities are far advanced. The work is being undertaken on several of the ministry's locations to provide greater accessibility and comfort for internal and external clients. It includes the construction of a new office in St. Anne, which is on track for completion in December. Minister of Labour and Social Security Shahini Robinson says drawings for the renovation of the NIS office at 18 Ripon Road has also been finalized and the contract will be put to tender shortly.
The main offices of the Labour Division of the Ministry is located at 1F North Street. The building was in need of extensive repairs on the exterior. Those repairs are almost completed.
Work is also progressing on the Overseas Employment Center on East Street and a new arm of the Industrial Disputes Tribunal in St. James.
I'm pleased to report that a lease has been signed and the contract for the renovation has also been signed. IDT West will soon become a reality.
Minister Robinson was delivering her sectoral presentation in Parliament recently. And finally, Minister with Responsibility for Gender Affairs, Olivia Grange, says the model of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation has been successfully studied and replicated in several countries, including Kenya, Guyana, Grenada, and St. Kitts and Nevis. She made the disclosure on Monday during a tour of the facility with First Lady of Kenya, Her Excellency Margaret Kenyatta, and wife of the Governor-General, Lady Allen.
With such an impressive rate of success, the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation has been recognized worldwide as an international best practice. The United Nations Population Fund in 2013 State of the World Population Report praised the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation as a great example of Jamaica offering to the world, and I quote, a model for preventing adolescent pregnancy and supporting young mothers.
First Lady Margaret Kenyatta commended the Women's Center for helping approximately 46,000 teen mothers complete their secondary education.
This institution is indeed a true model for learning and replication. I know that keeping our girls in school directly lowers the rate of maternal mortality. It also protects the girls who are most vulnerable from the new emerging issues of adolescent HIV.
The tour was part of the itinerary of Mrs. Kenyatta, who joined her husband, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, on a 3-day state visit to Jamaica. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
I'm deeply concerned by the number of Jamaicans killed on our roads. Safety on our roads is our responsibility. Jamaicans, Drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
Haven't done your back to school shopping yet? The Consumer Affairs Commission has a few suggestions.
So we're in back to school shopping period, you know. Everybody's out now shopping, busy. What are some of the advice? What advice will you give people who are shopping now for school books, for shoes, for all the things you need for your children?
Well, the first thing that the Consumer Affairs Commission advises parents to do is to shop at home first. So you do your research at home, because going out to shop means that you would have done your comparative shopping. You've already located the best prices, where you're going to buy what, because the one-stop shop sounds convenient, but it's not always the best way to go about it. So what we try to do is we offer the annual textbook survey, which is the database comes from the Ministry of Education. It gives us all the approved texts. We then verify those texts in terms of publication, edition, etc. And then we go, we have our field officers, our survey officers go to the bookstores to verify availability and price. Once we have done that, we then determine the publication and we do our analysis. The research department, they're working very hard right now to go through the data to ensure that the books that they have are the books that have been approved, and even the approved list are the matches back to the list that the schools
So edition 15, you have to buy that because edition 14 will be different.
Exactly.
Yes. Where can persons access the textbook survey?
Well, that has not yet been published, but it will be published partially on our website at www.cac.gov.jm, and we are hoping to partner with some publications to ensure that consumers are able to get that. But we say to parents, they can call us and we can access whatever parish, location, bookstore for the prices on their behalf.
Let's move now to buying shoes. When we're buying shoes for the children, we should not go. There are some tips not to go in the evening or what else?
Yes, we normally ask consumers to be wise about shoe shopping, because what happens is that the body functions in a weird kind of way, especially in the summer. And the kids, they're playing football, they're doing everything, the feet are swollen.
Right.
So they fit differently in the evening than in the morning.
And always take the child with you.
And always take the child with you, because they do their growth spurts in the summer.
Yes.
So you might think you have a size 6 when you go, it's a size 7. So
to prevent having to return an item, and I talk about is there a returns policy?
There's not a general return
policy.
Because you know what,
I went to buy something last week, and the person in the store told me, I cannot return it. I said, what if I take it? So it doesn't work. Can I take it back? She frankly said, she just said no.
Well, there's no general return policy that we can impose on a vendor. However, if you have bought an item and that item does not function in the manner in which it was, then the CAC will step in and say to that vendor, the consumer has a right.
Yes. Not if you don't like it, if you don't like it again.
No, we don't arbitrarily defend the consumer on just a trivial thing as I don't like the color or I changed my mind or no.
But if it doesn't function.
But if it doesn't function or it's a substandard good. So it takes a matter of reasonableness between the vendor and the consumer. And very often, that's how we get to intervene. And we resolve issues based on just reasoning with the vendor to say, you need your customers.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you for having me.
water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Are you one of those persons who refuse a receipt that's been given by the cashier? Well, that's not a good idea, as this piece of paper holds a lot of value.
Serve. Be a pound of flour and a tin of mackerel there. How much that?
120.
120. Respect.
Yeah, my general, see I left a receipt.
John knows them thing there.
Yeah, man.
So, for this. Respect.
The law is clear. Without a receipt, there is no proof of purchase. It doesn't matter the situation or the type of item purchased. A receipt guarantees compensation in the event something goes wrong with your purchase. The Consumer Protection Act, the CPA, speaks specifically to this, the use of receipts during transactions being a duty of the vendor and the consumer. Section 20 of the Act stipulates that the receipt is your legal proof of purchase to be used in arranging a refund where needed.
Shop around, check the products thoroughly before you pay over. Ensure after you've paid that you receive a receipt.
Yes, comparative shopping cannot be overemphasized, especially in tight economic times. Customers have to ensure the quality of the product before hard-earned money is handed over. Otherwise, in some cases, you might as well be flushing those dollars down the drain. And if there is a defect, the justice system or the Consumer Affairs Commission may not be able to help you get assistance of any sort if you do not have a receipt.
We admonish consumers to ensure at all times that you have a footing to stand on if something goes wrong. And that is why we encourage you to get a receipt once you have done any business.
But within the Jamaican shopping context, with street-side deals, corner shops, and other instances of informal selling, the use of a receipt is often abandoned. In those cases, the CAC warns the consumer is pretty much not covered, legally speaking, that is. But there are ways to resolve this.
In cases where a receipt is not available, take your receipt book with you and have the vendor sign the receipt book as a way to protect yourself.
Would you like a receipt?
No, thank you.
Okay. Wrong move, says the authorities. According to CAC surveys, motorists often opt not to accept or request a receipt because the process is time-consuming. But motorists are implored to request receipts for petrol purchases to facilitate easy resolution if a discrepancy occurs, such as being overcharged.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Total.
Good afternoon. May I get 2090? And may I have a receipt, please?
2090 and a receipt? Sure, no problem.
Here are the legal guidelines that constitute a valid receipt.
And that receipt should bear the name of the provider, the date on which the transaction took place, what was purchased or what service was used, the cost, and the cost attached.
The receipt could also show the vendor's contact information and description of the product, that is, the goods or services being sold. The price can either be written out or printed in numerals. Both are sometimes used in order to avoid ambiguity. And vendors, to protect your business in the event a dispute arises, keep a copy of all receipts and sign receipts if they do not bear the logo of your organization. The receipt can be valid for up to 6 years. So, to get justice in the event of a transaction gone wrong, the next time you pay for goods or services, collect your receipt.
Excess salt in your diet increases blood pressure and contributes to kidney damage, gastric cancer, obesity, osteoporosis, and the worsening of asthma. Aim to have no more than 3 to 6 grams of salt, or half of 1 teaspoon per day. And children under 11 years of age should consume less than this. Get healthy. Reduce the salt. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service and the Ministry of Health.
Up next, measures by the blood bank to ensure the blood donated is safe for transfusion.
As long as man is around to get sick or injured, blood will remain a high-demand substance for health practitioners. But for all its wonderful properties, the life-saving bodily fluid could become a death sentence if not handled properly. For those who need their supplies boosted, health workers cannot simply hook up a needle and feed the red and white cells from another individual straight to the needy bloodstream.
It's not just a simple matter of collecting blood, finding out what the group is, and then passing it on to the recipient. There are lots of other things that go into providing safe blood.
Think of blood like a home. Certain fundamental things like walls, floors, and ceilings are common to all, but the little things you put in over the years and experiences you have within those spaces make each unique to its owner. Like your home, blood can change owners, but you have to make some adjustments to have it meet the needs of the new recipient. That is what the technicians and health workers have to do before blood that is donated can be passed on to someone in need. The first step is to screen the donor to determine their medical history and suitability to donate.
The screening is aimed at 1, protecting the donor, and 2, protecting the potential recipient.
After that, it's a matter of sterilizing the donor's arm and proceeding to draw the blood. From there, the blood is taken to the lab, where it goes through a series of tests. Technicians look for things like blood groupings such as A, B, O, and Rh types, antibodies in the red blood cells, venereal diseases such as syphilis, HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, hepatitis B and C, which affect the liver, and HTLV, human T-cell lymphotropic virus type 1 and 2, a virus that weakens the immune system. At the island's blood bank, the National Blood Transfusion Service, tests such as these are carried out daily. For each unit of blood drawn, 2 sample tubes are also collected. These are referred to as the red and purple top. For accuracy, data on the tubes must correspond with the main bag. The purple top sample is used to screen for antibodies and blood groupings. Blood grouping is just as important as the infectious screening. This ensures compatibility for the recipients, that is, people of the same blood group receiving the same blood type.
We do our ABO grouping here at the blood bank using the Diamed system. This technology is a gel system. It has microtubules, otherwise we call it as wells, and it has our antisera already in these wells.
A drop of the donor blood is placed into each of these wells. It is incubated and put in a machine that spins the substance at a high speed. After this process, a reading is given.
This is an example of a blood group. We can read it macroscopically. This is reading O negative based on the cells that are seen here.
In VDRL testing, which checks for syphilis, a small amount of the serum or the white part of the blood is dropped into a tube and then incubated at 56 degrees Celsius. After 30 minutes, it is taken from the incubator, placed on a slide, mixed with an antigen, and then rotated at 180 degrees for 4 minutes. The slide is then placed under a microscope for reading. A positive sample for syphilis would show signs of lumps or flocculation. Samples from the main lab are taken over here for the human immunodeficiency virus HIV screening, as well as the human T-cell lymphotropic virus HTLV and hepatitis B and C screenings. The different reagents or chemical compound for each of these viruses are added to the blood samples and placed in this machine. The reagent will cause a color change to the sample, indicating a positive reading.
Basically, it interprets this color change to a numerical value, which we can quantitate. Either if it's positive, it tells us the degree of positivity based on the numerical value, and if it's negative, we also get a numerical value, but we also have a cutoff value which can tell us whether it's negative or positive.
Whole blood is never administered as part of safety measures. The whole blood is separated into components: red blood cells or packed cells, plasma, or white cells.
If you had a patient who was anemic, who is in heart failure, and you gave whole blood, you're giving that person a lot of plasma unnecessarily. They really need the packed cells component. Not only is it unnecessary, but you put them at added risk of making the heart failure worse. So it is important to give just the component that is required.
And the safety procedure doesn't end there. A cross-matching process is also done to identify minor blood groups that might interfere with a successful transfusion process. But once all the tests are done to satisfaction and the separation process is completed, you can rest assured that the blood to be administered is safe.
We're taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
I am Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice. The plea bargain legislation has been passed. Many persons charged with serious crimes are spending several years behind bars. It did not have to happen. Accept responsibility for your wrongdoing. Get a lighter sentence. Watch your children grow. Please, don't gamble with your future.
A message from the Ministry of Justice.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Sandra Clark. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more. No more crime.
This week on Chill Spot, it's all about getting fit and staying in shape with Patrice McHugh, CEO of Bars to Go and Jamaica's first master mixologist. She'll be taking us to Spartan Health Club for a workout, and then later on it will be on to a fabulous evening of exquisite food and drink. Stay tuned. Hey Patrice.
Hey Mama, what's
Hi.
up?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, so first and foremost, what are we going to be doing today?
We're going to be doing a leg circuit today. So we're going to be doing some squats, deadlifts, yes, leg press, leg curls, leg extension.
All right, so we're here at Spartan. Why is health and wellness so important to you?
Because I'm a fat girl on the inside. I am.
Good answer.
I am. And it's, fitness becomes a way of me keeping that fat girl calm and also being healthy at the same time.
What about Spartan in particular? What is it about this gym why you come here?
That's simple. It's the #1 gym in the island. And in addition to that, it has the best weight room, cardio room, the trainers are the best, and the service is above par.
Wow, sounds like I need to start coming here.
You definitely need to.
And would you say it's ever too late to start working out?
It's never too late. It's about starting. Once you start, that's all that counts.
Good, but I can't stop if I start.
No. Remember, you're building a lifestyle. Why stop?
All right, so legs you said.
Legs.
All right, let's go.
Let's work on our backs.
Okay. So I just pull this thing down?
Yes. Do you want sexy back? You have to put in the work.
So Patrice, what is it exactly that you do? What is a master mixologist?
Okay. A master mixologist is the highest level it is that you can reach in the bartending arena. So it's something that the USBG, which is the United States Bartending Guild, came out with in 2009, and it's basically a bartender becoming a chef behind the bar. So that's where you start studying spirits and how to infuse it with spices, herbs, etc. Stuff like that. In addition, you start now incorporate molecular mixology in your bar.
Molecular mixology?
Yes. So with molecular mixology, what you basically do now is you start creating wow effect using your cocktails. So you now have your edible cocktails, you have your nitrogen cocktails, you have now where you're dabbling a bit into like the master distiller world of where you now start aging your cocktails. So you actually make a cocktail, like example, a whiskey sour, and instead of serving it to your customer, you can put that whiskey sour in a barrel and then age it for like a month, 2 months before you serve it back to your customer.
So explain to us what a typical day is like for you. Do you wake up and mix a drink?
No. A typical day for me starts at 3:30. Get up, get something.
In the afternoon?
No, in the morning.
Oh, okay.
In the morning, Candy. In the morning. So get something light, like most times it's a banana, and then I go running. I run between 4:30. So it depends on how many miles I'm doing, because I go up to 10 miles during the week. After that, then I do hill training for endurance, then come to the gym, and then get ready for work. And in the middle of that, you know, I have to be a mommy.
So how long have you been doing this?
12 years plus.
12?
Yes.
Oh, Patrice, you're not even that old.
Look here, man, you're aging me. You know, I was an accounting clerk before.
Accounting?
Yes, yes. So strange.
A complete different industry.
Total opposite. Let's move on to another machine.
Patrice, 12 years in the industry, but when did Barsico actually start?
In 2005.
2005. So what would you say are some of your greatest successes?
In 2009, I was featured in the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
Yes. For, you know, mixology. In 2011, Don Ula came out with a recipe book where they feature the world's greatest mixologists. And I was also featured in that, where I had to submit a recipe. And I did the Reposado Lightning, which was a dedication to Usain at the time, because he had just won the Olympics. And then in 2012, I was one of the 50 under 50 recipients.
Oh, the PSOJ 50
The
under 50.
PSOJ,
Congratulations,
exactly.
Pat.
Thank you.
Those are amazing feats. And you're just so young. And what would you say are some of your challenges then in getting the business off the ground, or just being a woman in business?
All right, some of my challenges in terms of business is always trying to compete with a bigger company. As a young entrepreneur, you know, and a small business owner, you know, it's very hard for you to compete with larger companies. So you have to come up with creative ways in terms of keeping the business alive. Another challenge I had, which from time to time becomes an issue, is credit facilities. You know, credit facilities are asking entrepreneurs for a whole heap of stuff. And as an entrepreneur, if you want, you know, something from them, where are you going to get it from? That's the reason why you're going to them.
It's a little more difficult.
Exactly. I would say those two. You're set.
I'm up. I hope I can do the weight, the weight that Patrice is doing.
It's not that bad. Come on, it's not that bad.
So this is a male-dominated field, you'd say. What would you say keeps your edge in an industry like this?
By trying to stay a step ahead of my male counterparts. I have to always find ways to be innovative, creative. And that's how our training academy was started, Barsico Training Academy.
You have that too?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
So what I did is we started the Hospitality Academy that does hospitality training. So we do bartending training, and not only just regular bartending training, but we take it a step further. So what do we do is, a bartender is doing the advanced program. We now teach them how to do molecular mixology. Every customer that goes to a bar, they're used to the flair attendant. Those are the guys that throw the bottles up and down.
That's what that's called.
Exactly. But what they're not used to is, instead of drinking their cocktail, they're not used to eating their cocktail. Also, when they're drinking their cocktail, they're not used to seeing smoke and stuff coming from their cocktail.
Right.
So in order to create that experience all over the island, that's what we started teaching the bartenders in the school.
Impressive. And finally, what advice would you have for entrepreneurs who want to get into a field like this?
Hard work. It's a lot of work. And the disadvantage with up-and-coming entrepreneurs, they expect overnight success. They want to go to bed, wake up, and they're a millionaire. You have to put in the work. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you're the person who's responsible for your paycheck. You can't listen to naysayers. You come up with an idea, and then you have somebody say, no, that's not going to work, man. That's not going to work. You have to, once you come up with an idea, you understand, start do your market research. Put together your marketing plan, and then execute the idea. And then don't procrastinate. And that's one of the biggest disadvantages that we entrepreneurs have. We procrastinate a lot.
All right, assuming this workout is now over. Patrice, who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration is my daughter.
You have a daughter looking like this?
I do. I have an 11-year-old. And she's the reason why I'm always driving. you know, she pushes me.
So with so many things going on at home and in your business, how important is it for you to have downtime, for you to just relax?
And that's where my partner comes into play.
Naturally.
Yes. From time to time, you know, him have a real mean, come Pat, come. You have to, you know, you have to remember you have your family, so you have to find balance and stuff. And he's a big support system for me. I'm very thankful and grateful for the support that he lends and for always trying to bring me back down to earth, like, you know?
Just like a partner should.
Yes.
What would you say are your goals for the future, personally or professionally?
Professional goals is we're expanding the school, and I'm also getting married in a couple of months.
Getting married, congratulations!
Thank you.
Can you give us any wedding dates?
Let's just say in a couple of months I'll be called Mrs. White. Ooh. That's all.
Girl!
Thanks.
So, what is that mask? What does it do?
It's a training mask. So what it does, it simulates a training as if you're on high altitude. So you can train at 3,000 feet, 12,000 feet, 15,000 feet, or 18,000 feet.
So that makes it more difficult.
Exactly.
Oh.
It does. So if I'm supposed to do the same routine without the training mask, because I'm used to training in the mask, it makes it much easier for me to do the routine, and I can do more reps without the mask.
Okay, I get you. All right, so our next stop is Mountain Spring.
Exactly.
How many of you guys work out? So what specifically do you do when you come up here?
We do training with resistant bands, ropes, etc.
I'm not going to do that.
Of course. Why are you here?
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
So Patrice, you brought us up here to Mountain Spring. Where exactly are we?
We're exactly upper Barbican, hills above Barbican.
Okay, and what do people normally do when they come up here?
They use it for their cardio routine. A lot of people are bored in the gym. You know, I personally hate working out on the treadmill, so you have to get your cardio exercises somewhere. So you get a good burn climbing the hill to come up to the top, and then from here up there, then you do sprint drills over and over.
So what specifically do you do when you come up here? Because I know that's not what you do.
When I come here, I do what I call hill training. So we do training with resistant bands, ropes, chains, weights, etc.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, of course. Why are you here?
But you don't recommend it for beginners like me, right? It's only
No.
for the experts like
Yes.
you.
Not for beginners, but once you start getting into the fitness routine, then you can transition into what it is that I do.
All right, so what exactly we're going to be doing today? Because you're getting me scared now.
We're going to do some ill training that will incorporate using the resistant bands, ropes, chains. I'm sure you've seen me with my chain already. Yes. And we have some 45 plates. So we're going to have a lot of fun today.
So is there anything I need to know before I do this thing?
I hope you ate before.
I did. So what kind of results do you get from this kind of training?
If you're working out to lose weight, then it's a good fat burning process. For me personally, I do it for endurance and for strength. I want to be strong like the male counterparts. You understand me? I have an ego that's very big. I want to do whatever it is that the male counterpart is doing, I'm able to do it. So it's more of a strength endurance thing for me.
So like you said, you have to be, a little advanced in the gym or in your fitness regimen to come up here and do what you do. What else do we need to know to do this sort of training?
Remember I asked you if you ate. Eating is important before you start training and to stay hydrated throughout the process. The minute you start feeling any sort of discomfort, because we really go hardcore with the training, so the minute you start feeling any sort of discomfort, you have to let us know, because then you have to stop. Health is important and safety is important for us.
I think I'm feeling a little discomfort
No,
already.
You're still doing it, man.
All right, Pat, well, let's go. I'm ready, I think.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, Jesus.
Go. Go.
Well, Pat, I don't know about you, but it was a pretty intense workout and I'm ready to have a drink and just cool off later. So we're going to be linking up, right?
Definitely.
All right, good. Later.
Yeah.
Hi guys, hi Pat.
Hey Candy.
How are you?
What's up?
So who do we have here?
This is Tess Marie, Dawnit, and Janelle.
Hi guys, so how do you guys know each other? Or know Pat, I should say.
Well, I've known Pat for more than 15 years, so I'm probably her longest friend.
Boy, Tess just aged me. Tess? Oh my God.
I've known her for more than 15 years, yes. Pat and I go way back.
Thank you, Tess. You're very old. Thank you.
We had a mutual friend.
That sounds juicy, you know. How was about you? Oh, you guys train together? Yes, we did a little bit of that today. Not much, not much. So what else do you guys do for fun?
Well, we get together a lot and try different restaurants, hang out at Pat's house, girl talk. Yes, and Empire.
Love and hip hop. Come on.
So lots of TV shows.
Yes, a lot of TV.
Reality show fanatics.
Yes. Enjoying each other's company, catching up from the week.
I know I was talking to Pat earlier today and she mentioned that she'll be getting married soon. So are there any bachelorette plans? Spill the beans.
Well, I can't really spill the beans, but let's just say we'll be going away and having fun, but of course, So what happens though?
Where are you guys
We're going to Miami and probably somewhere.
It's actually two parties. We have one in Miami and we have one here in Jamaica. Most of my bridesmaids are from the States. So, you know, we have to make sure
It's only right to include everybody. Well, all this talk about the Bachelorette has me a little thirsty, so I'd like to order. I've heard a lot of good things about the Blue Cosmos, so I'd like to try that, please. Thank you very much. And let's talk a little bit about Opal. What brings you guys here? Why do you guys hang out here?
I personally love the vibe and the ambience of the place. Outside of that, Opal has a customer service experience. Alex, the owner, he goes beyond the Call of Duty in terms of ensuring that each customer experience that service that he's delivering. And then food, we're all foodies. Remember I told you I'm a fat girl on the inside. So when I want good food to eat, I come here.
What exactly is Greek food though?
Well, it's actually regular food, chicken, shrimp, pork, fish, but the main element of the meal is the sauces, which is tomato sauce and lemon sauce, so that actually, you know,
it's
makes
very
it
healthy.
very palatable, and it's healthy.
And that fits in my lifestyle.
And we all know that Pat is all about the healthy lifestyle.
All right, in Pat's case, I'm gonna make an exception. What sentence would you use to describe Pat?
Hard work in everything she does.
Pat is loyal, very headstrong. Those two elements of her personality can be misunderstood at times, but usually it's always coming from a good place. Okay. Pat is straightforward.
Yes. If it had to be one word we had to choose, it would be straightforward.
Well, we have to keep it real, guys. We have to keep it real.
Okay, 2 words. Straightforward and 3 words. Straightforward and she's a fitness junkie.
Right.
We all
definitely
know that.
got that. Definitely got that. All right, well, all this talk about food is getting me very, very hungry, so I'm ready to taste this very healthy lemon-based excitement that they have here. So let's head inside.
That makes 2 of us.
Let's go.
How would you describe yourself?
I'm a no-nonsense person.
No nonsense.
I get straight to the point.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
So Pat, we've sort of heard from the girls on what they think of you. How would you describe yourself?
I'm a no-nonsense person.
No nonsense.
I get straight to the point.
Talk to us a little bit about your childhood. Where were you raised and how?
I'm from Spanish Town. I was raised by both my mother and father. Different households, so back and forth between both of them. And then when I reached high school, I started moving around from one family to the other family to the other family. Stayed with some friends at one point in time. Yeah. My childhood was a very rough one, very, very rough. And I guess that's what dictates who I am now, who I am today. I went to Tarrant Primary, then Mergrove, then went on to, UCC after. I'm a certified accountant.
Right. I think you mentioned that earlier.
Then I got into the bar service business.
Right. What about siblings? Do you have any siblings?
I have 3 brothers.
How many siblings did you say you had?
3.
3 siblings.
Brothers.
But you only have 1 daughter.
Yes.
All right, let's talk a little bit about her.
Beautiful girl.
That's the apple of my eye.
Clearly, she's blushing.
They're nothing alike. That's how I know that.
Complete opposite.
She raised a good girl, I can say that. I mean, we all know that she went through a lot growing up, so what I really admire about her is that she really ensured that her daughter had the best, you know?
The relationship I have with my daughter, now, I wish I had that relationship with my mother. Motherhood for me is a learning experience and also give me the opportunity of reliving the child, you know, the childhood that I wanted to live as a child. So the relationship that we have, we're very tight. Some people call her my twin. We're very, 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 very
Do they
close.
actually look alike?
No, we don't.
And they don't act alike either. And she's very proper and quiet.
Very prim, very, very prim. And she'd be like, Mom, you're embarrassing me.
Yeah, that's her favorite.
Yes.
So they're like, honestly, they're like sisters. From what I've seen, they're like sisters.
Well, if they were in the same clothes, then they're certainly more like sisters than anything else.
And trust me, can't take it as a compliment.
And what about your husband-to-be? Tell us the story of how you guys met.
Oh, wow.
Donovan.
By the way, we're all team Don. So we have an ongoing
Hello,
joke.
can I speak?
Sorry.
Can I speak?
We're all team Don.
Like, Don can do nothing wrong where they are concerned. Don and I, we knew of each other before because we're in the same industry. But we first exchanged conversation at Nam International Airport when I needed his help with a business issue. And we can just say the rest is history from there.
What's the one thing about yourself that people would never guess?
One thing that people don't know about me, they will never guess it because I always shut down that topic or pretend that it doesn't matter to me, is to this very day, I wish I had a relationship with my mother. Hopefully we will do so sometime before either of us passes away, but that's something that I wish.
What advice would you give to the younger you, if you could give the younger you some advice?
That's a tough one. I got married at a pretty young age. I got married when I was 19 years of age. And if I could go back in the past to my younger self, I'd tell my younger self to wait.
To wait.
Yeah.
I can respect that. I think we all can respect that as women. Yeah. You know, I think you need to know yourself more and explore your youth first before you know you with somebody else. Exactly. Absolutely. You know. Absolutely.
You have to spend a bag of money on divorce, don't it?
But on a lighter note, where is the
food? Thank you.
Opa! Opa!
Should we say our prayer or blessing? Yes, absolutely. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here together as friends, old and new. And we ask that you allow our bodies to use this food that has been so graciously prepared for us, dear Lord. And we give you thanks and praises. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Beautiful. Well, Patrice, I just want to tell you thank you for having us today. One of your chill spots was a little exhausting, but that's okay. I can appreciate your lifestyle, and of course, Opa is absolutely fabulous. So thank you for having us.
You're welcome, Candy.
All right. I can't complain about the day that I've had with Patrice. We started out with our workouts at Spartan, and we've ended the night here at Opa, where we've had fabulous food and drinks. Until next time, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye. Patrice did this at 10, but I'm clearly much, much stronger, so I'm moving this down to 40.
You're capturing that? No!
Woo! I can barely lift this. All this bachelorette talk has me a little thirsty, so I forgot the name of my drink. What name? Blue Cosmo. Okay. So what the blah, 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 blah. What kind of restaurant is it though?
It's a Greek restaurant.
So what is Greek food exactly?
Oh, we have to know it. What should I get technical now? But Jesus! I want this one!
What is it?
Pivotal role of the CARICOM Development Fund highlighted at meeting in Barbados.
Guyana's president swears in new chair of the Guyana Elections Commission.
And CARICOM moving to strengthen food safety in the region. Welcome to this week's edition of the CARICOM News Highlights. I am Jacine Dunkley Malcolm.
And I am Michelle Nurse. Welcome to the program.
Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Mottley, and Interim Chairman of the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, Dr. Richard Brown, have acknowledged the pivotal role of the CDF in the development of the community. They were both speaking at the opening of the 8th meeting of contributors and development partners of the CDF on the 30th of June in Barbados.
The notion of the average citizen in the region being able to play that definable difference in the funding of this region's development is what must be embraced and embraced with vigor.
We also live in a region that is faced with a number of perennial challenges and constraints, some of them structural, some natural, and others which are external to the region. These include issues such as the withdrawal of correspondent banking services and de-risking by international banks, which have a significant impact on our trade and development prospects, and to which we have been forced to adapt in order to survive. One aspect of this adaptation, which is an integral element of our long-term strategic response, is for us to strengthen our internal economic and functional cooperation ties within CARICOM. The CDF is well positioned as a treaty-based institution of the community to play a pivotal role in this regard, through the support that the fund provides to disadvantaged countries, regions, and sectors within CARICOM.
The Prime Minister also committed to honor Barbados' obligation to the CDF, even as she challenged the organization to find new ways to raise capital to help member countries fund projects.
Barbados will honor its obligations before the end of this second cycle, in spite of being in an IMF program. Because fundamentally, our future is inextricably linked to a successful CARICOM single market and single economy.
The CDF is a CARICOM institution whose mandate is to provide financial or technical assistance to disadvantaged countries, regions, and sectors in CARICOM arising from their participation in the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME. The institution is based in Barbados and is headed by Chief Executive Officer Mr. Rodinald Sumer.
The impact on the silent victims of domestic or family violence was a high point for head of the Crime and Security Program at the CARICOM Secretariat, Mr. Sherwin Toyne Stevenson. He spoke to CARICOM News Time at the end of a regional forum to refine protocols on the collection and sharing of administrative data on domestic violence.
The high point, I should say, or the most eye-opening moment, you know, that moment when you catch yourself and you say, this is what struck me the most, was a lot of discussion this afternoon that we had that was centered around the silent victims of domestic violence. And by this I mean persons who constantly are in the environment where domestic violence itself plays out. And I'm speaking particularly to our young children, who many of us see as, you know, just being on the side, they don't have a voice, but we don't know how much it is affecting them. I've had personal experiences, and I'm sure a lot of persons related in the room, to personal having seen things that happen where, as a young person, 11, 12 years old, you feel unable to respond. Having to go through that consistently does create a situation that is very harmful in our opinion.
The forum is an activity of the Crime and Violence and Social Development component of the CARIFORUM European Union Crime and Security Program under the 10th European Development Fund. The objective of the forum was to contribute to the strengthening and harmonizing of systems and approaches for the collection, analysis, and dissemination of administrative data on gender-based violence.
We recognize in the region that in order to make informed choices that would be able to help us better implement prescriptions and policies and you know, whatever it is that comes out of in ensuring that our region moves forward, depends very heavily on data. We are as a region, I would say, now evolving in our understanding and our use of data, particularly so in terms of bringing it together in a regional platform where we can be able to make trends analysis, which would move us from a position of mainly responding to crime scenarios, but be able to predict and prescribe situations so that we move from being more reactive to a more proactive kind of society.
The capacity building initiative targeted persons in management, policy implementers, decision makers, and experts from the hotlines, shelters, hospitals, health centers, police, courts, and/or statistics officers. President David Granger swore in the first female chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, on the 29th of July. He presented Justice Claudette Singh with her instruments of office at the Ministry of the Presidency.
I, Claudette Margot Cecile Singh, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, that I will faithfully execute the office of Chairman of the Elections Commission without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and I do so swear, so help me God.
President Granger described the swearing-in as a good day for the Republic of Guyana and reiterated that Justice Singh's appointment fulfills the mandate of the Constitution of Guyana and also satisfies the recent ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice.
The Elections Commission is not a plaything. Its independence is a condition for engendering confidence and public trust in the electoral system and for the efficient conduct of elections. I initiated a consensual process with the leader of the opposition to identify a chairman of the Elections Commission in accordance with the provisions of our Constitution and in accordance with the interpretation of the Caribbean Court of Justice. I received from the leader of the opposition a list of 6 names not unacceptable to me on the 26th of July. From that list, I chose Justice Claudette Singh. The appointment of Justice Claudette Singh means that the Election Commission has a chairman again after a hiatus of a little more than a month. It is now properly constituted and can continue to prepare for the conduct of free, fair, and timely elections. It fulfills the Caribbean Court of Justice's ruling in relation to Article 161(2).
And in another first, St. Vincent and the Grenadines swore in its first female Governor General, Her Excellency Susan Dugan, on the 1st of August. The retired educator said that she was extremely honored and privileged to fill the post.
I, Susan Dugan, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the office of Governor General. So help me God. I thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for your warm words and for giving me the honor of becoming the first female Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I look forward to working with the government, all members of Parliament, and our national institutions in service to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
She succeeds Sir Frederick Ballantyne.
CARICOM is moving to strengthen food safety in the region. Food safety regulators met recently in Paramaribo, Suriname, and identified key recommendations to enhance the coordination of food safety measures among CARICOM member states. The meeting was held from the 23rd to the 25th of July 2019. It was organized by the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency, CAFSA, a CARICOM institution in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries of Suriname. Participants recommended the creation of a Caribbean task force on food safety that will formally coordinate, advise, and strengthen CAFSA's work in that area. The task force will offer advice on prioritization of food safety challenges and how to promote a common food safety agenda for the region, including an approach for harmonization of food safety standards. CAFSA will present the recommendations to the Council of Trade and Economic Development, COTED. CAFSA is headquartered in Suriname and is headed by Chief Executive Officer Mr. Simeon Collins.
Last week, we spoke about a new project to build capacity in the beekeeping industry in the Caribbean. Here's Ms. Beverly Best, Director of External and Institutional Relations at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, with more details on the project, which is being done by ICA, the government of Argentina, and 4 CARICOM member states, Barbados, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia.
The direct beneficiaries we see as the beekeepers, bee farmers. We also see the governments themselves. We also see the families of the beekeepers, and we see a unique opportunity. And I used that word before, but I think it's critical that I use it here for women and young persons to benefit from this project, given the capacity to train these people to get involved in an initiative such as this. And the intention is that the project will be expanded and we'll have other countries participating after the first phase. So we're hoping that the lessons learned from this phase, some of the best practices that we would have developed, will be utilized to even improve the project in the other countries.
We take this opportunity to wish Jamaica a happy independence. Jamaica gained its independence on the 6th of August in 1962. We leave you today with a glimpse of how emancipation is observed in some of our member states.
And in Suriname, and not because I'm from Suriname, but I have observed it in our region, the community. Suriname is the only country in the Caribbean, and at least this part, where you have this type of a head tie. This is just one. A lot of starch goes in this thing.
Oh, wow.
And ironing and so on. And you will see it's tied in a certain way and it has knots, right? There are several of these type of dresses or head ties, if I may say so. Depending on where you have the knots, in which direction is showing, and how it's brought together,
Right.
it might have several meanings.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
Yes, this dates from slavery times. You know, during slavery, men and women were not allowed to meet and so on. And even later on, you know, very conservative society, you were not free to meet your friend or your boyfriend and so on. So depending on how you would have the knots and how you would tie it, it might mean that, okay, meet me on the corner.
Oh wow.
Or meet me on the left corner.
A rendezvous of sorts.
Yes, or meet me on the right corner.
I see.
Or let them talk.
Oh wow.
You know, you're a woman, you don't care. Oh, let them talk. So that is what it would resemble.
As opposed to the English speaking Caribbean, emancipation is not observed in Haiti. But what happened? We celebrate Independence Day, which is on the January 1st. As you may be aware, there's the pumpkin soup, which recalls how during the slavery period only the masters could drink this pumpkin soup.
Oh, wow.
So for independence, I mean, all Haitians would have pumpkin soup just to say that, I mean, just to say that since we could not drink it around slavery, so we are free now. We can do it.
You are now up to date with the major developments in the region. For more details on these and other stories, visit the CARICOM Secretariat news site today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org.
Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
See you next time.
Evelyn Harris is a maroon healer in Jamaica. She has spent decades making a living from her knowledge of Jamaican plants and their healing properties. The products she makes from these plants are in constant demand, and she's happy to be able to help others. She is symbolic of many persons in the Caribbean whose traditional knowledge is a rich and often unacknowledged resource.
You have to be curious to learn about herbs. This is dog's blood, and this one is good for infection or black tube. And this one is piaba, and the piaba is what good for women who's going through menopause.
She, like many others in the region, can share stories of how her knowledge has contributed to research without being properly credited or compensated. But all that will change as more Caribbean countries are getting on board with a Nagoya Protocol that will protect knowledge held by persons like Evelyn and will serve to preserve the natural resources she depends on. The Nagoya Protocol is an international agreement that focuses on the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits from the sustainable use of genetic resources. It is an agreement that researchers and prospective business developers that use the Caribbean's natural resources need to be aware of.
The Caribbean region has an abundant variety of marine and terrestrial biodiversity, including a high number of endemic species of flora and fauna. This richness is combined with a mix of cultures and traditional knowledge. Also, it is clear that Caribbean countries recognize the importance of their unique genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge, and at the same time know that sharing the benefits of the utilization of these resources can be a way to protect the rich natural resources and bring prosperity to Caribbean people.
The International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, in partnership with the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, is working with regional governments, research institutions, and other partners in the Caribbean to support countries to promote the sustainable use of the region's resources.
The needs are envisioned at 3 levels. One is at local levels, working with local communities and indigenous groups. The second level is the national level, working mainly with government and key line agencies that are going to be somehow responsible to implement the protocol, that have competencies according to the national law and the international legislation. And the third level is the regional level, working with CARICOM, for example, with OECS, other regional bodies like tourism organizations or other pertinent bodies that has responsibilities as well in the provision of the Nagoya Protocol.
Regulations will also be established for prior informed consent to access resources and the negotiation of mutually agreed terms to maximize the benefits of the protocol.
The Nagoya Protocol specifically deals with the issue of access to genetic resources and the sharing of the benefits that are gained from those resources. Now, if you think about the issue of sustainable development, if you think about the issue of natural resource management, it is necessary for these countries, who in most cases are small island developing states or developing countries, they need resources to be able to protect these natural resources that we have, these genetic resources. And so any avenue that is going to assist with making sure that some of these benefits come back in order to sustainably use these resources is something that the IUCN is always interested in providing.
The Bahamas, for example, is a hotspot for access to genetic resources for research and development. But only in one case of successful commercialization has benefit sharing with a country on the basis of an ABS contract took place.
There is a soft coral, which is a wavy coral. It's harvested annually in the Bahamas, and an extract from that was the first source of chemicals which are used today in skin revitalizing anti-aging creams. One of the researchers from the University of California came to the Bahamas and discovered a class of compounds which have anti-inflammatory properties. Later on, over 100 products in the world have been developed from the extracts from this coral.
For practitioners such as Dr. Sylvia Mitchell, the protocol will change the way how local communities and indigenous people like the Amerindians, Maroons, and Rastafarians operate.
The indigenous and local communities have to be part of the process. A very important part that the Nagoya Protocol recognizes in this whole value chain is that there are local indigenous communities all over the biodiversity-rich areas that have over many, many generations developed recipes. And when you develop products in the end, many, many years later, creams, anti-cancer, whatever, many times that traditional knowledge has been taken into account, but it doesn't filter back to those local communities.
Several Caribbean countries have already started putting in the framework to benefit from the implementation of the Nagoya Protocol. In Guyana, certain key steps have been taken.
Guyana already had a system in place with regards to granting access to its genetic resources. And that system is basically done through the Environmental Protection Agency. We're the agency responsible for granting all access to persons coming into the country to do research. If persons want to enter a specific community to access a specific resource, they have to get the consent of that community. When that consent is received, what they do is they have to submit that to, we have Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. And they would usually issue official permission saying the community has no objection with this person coming in to do such and such. When we have that, then we would issue our permit.
For Antigua and Barbuda, much has already been done, as these islands are in the process of depositing their ratification instrument.
This project will allow us to develop our regulations, to develop our policy, to set up our institutional infrastructure to now manage the issues. We don't know when any genetic materials and the associated traditional knowledge are being taken out of the country. We're not aware. It's only those people who will inform certain agencies or certain government agencies that they're taking them out. That only happens occasionally. But in instituting this Nagoya Protocol, in instituting our ABS regulations and policy, we'll be able to finally have a system to regulate this process.
The Nagoya Protocol is helping to preserve traditional knowledge that could be lost as elders die.
Over a period of time, people will come there, people have their complaints, people want to be treated for some ailments or whatever, and people just come to folks who do what they have to do for them, but not necessarily telling them, you know, what is it I have done for you. Okay, if you come, you have a problem with your belly or your back or your shoulder or whatever, you will get the treatment for it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna know all the ingredients and stuff that goes into it. And even sometimes if people would probably show to you, you might see an ingredient or two that they use, but it would be probably the least importance of the ingredient that you would have seen.
As the Caribbean embraces new opportunities to benefit from our biological resources, we look to the future.
I represent 11 parishes across the island which have a membership about 5,000. These are traditional farmers who have been growing marijuana illegally for years. Now that we are on the way to have a formal industry, we are working hard to allow standards to fit their needs as grassroots people while working with governments and agencies across the world.
The Nagoya Protocol is opening doors for Caribbean people.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, 'cause we're winning right now.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
A 34-year-old woman goes to her doctor for evaluation and treatment for infertility. She has been worried and recently began very painful and prolonged menstruation. During her physical examination, her doctor feels a large mass on her uterus, and ultrasound shows it's about 40 centimeters in diameter. He believes it's a fibroid tumor and discusses several treatment options. She chooses and will begin treating the fibroid, then will have it removed. She gets assurance that after treatment, she will have no more painful cycles and excessive bleeding, and that she will be able to conceive. This story is quite familiar to many women of reproductive age. Uterine fibroids in women of color is what we will look at on this episode of The Good Life.
Hello, Dr. Hardy.
How are you?
Dr. Hardy, I've heard all about your work on fibroids in women, and you'd be the perfect person to talk to on this week of The Good Life. First of all, how did you get started? Why fibroids in women?
Well, fibroids are 3 to 9 times more common in black women than in whites. And with our population being more than 90% from African descent, it stands to reason that we would have many women with fibroids. And many of these women would have symptomatic fibroids. So there is indeed a great need for treatment modalities to be developed for the treatment of these women.
Talk to us about fibroids. What exactly are fibroids?
To understand the whole thing about fibroids, we first have to talk about where fibroids are found.
Right.
Fibroids are found in the womb. The womb is a muscular organ in the pelvis, behind the bladder, and in front of the rectum. Essentially, it is the organ which bleeds every month for the menstrual cycle in women in the reproductive age group. Its main function, and probably only function, is to bear children. Fibroids now occupy this womb. Again, the womb is a pear-shaped organ, and you could have fibroids in any part of this organ. If you were to cut the pear, say, in half, you could have fibroids on the inner side. That's where the seed of the pear might be.
Right.
You could have fibroids in the fleshy part of the pear. That's the yellow part.
Yeah.
And you could have fibroids on the outside of this pear.
Okay.
You could also have fibroids attached to this pear by a stalk. And this could occur on the outside and on the inside as well, from where you might have the seed of this pair. These have names, of course. They are pedunculated fibroids, as we would call them. Sometimes fibroids, of course, might be attached to other organs in the abdomen, and these are called parasitic.
How do fibroids usually develop?
Well, I think the question you really want to ask is what causes fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is that we don't know.
Right.
What we do know is that there has to be some genetic component because they're more common in black people. And they only grow during the reproductive years, which means that your female hormones has something to do with them and their development. There has been lots of arguments about nutrition, but fibroids are common in black women in all the geographical regions of the world where the diets are different. So I'm not convinced at all that diet has anything to do with it.
So we don't know the exact causes of fibroids, but how would I know whether or not I may have fibroids?
Most patients with fibroids, interestingly, have no symptoms, and many times they are discovered on routine examination by the doctor, which every lady should have, especially if you're sexually active, in terms of having your annual gynecological check, your pap smear, and your pelvic examination. And lots of times, that's when fibroids are discovered. Sometimes, though, the patients may have symptoms. These symptoms may be related to bleeding issues. The periods might start to become heavier, more painful. They may last for a longer time. You may just have pelvic pains. You may have what we call bulk symptoms, where you start noticing that you have to pass your urine more frequently because the expanding uterus with the fibroids are competing with the bladder which is in front of it for the same space. Some people may have difficulties with passing their stools because the fibroids might be abutting against the rectum, hence the bulk symptoms. Some people may have issues in terms of fertility. One may cause you to miscarry, or they may cause you to not become pregnant. Although having said that, you still can become pregnant, or some people do become pregnant with their fibroids anyway, some people. Another symptom which we don't hear a lot about is discharge. In terms of fibroids, you can have a heavy discharge as a consequence of the fibroids. And this comes about because the womb makes a certain amount of secretions, and the amount increases with the size of the cavity of the womb. And with this expanding womb, you have a bigger cavity. More secretions, more nutrients for the bacteria which normally lives in the vagina, hence you have a secondary problem with vaginal discharge.
So the main point is that if something may happen and you happen to get a checkup, and
Yes.
you may have fibroids.
Yes.
So there's no real way to really know, I have fibroids.
Well, you may have no symptoms, or you may have symptoms, which would drive you to the doctor. And on examination, these may be suspected. Of course, ultrasound examination usually will confirm these findings, although most of us will, with a great degree of accuracy, be able to diagnose your fibroids just on physical examination.
On that note, we take our first break on The Good Life. But stay tuned, our Need to Know segment is coming up.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Welcome to our Need to Know feature. This week's show is an examination of fibroids in women of color. Here are a few facts. Among the symptoms that may indicate that a woman has fibroids is anemia, which is a reduction in your blood cells. A lot of persons mistake uterine fibroids for ovarian cysts. Although they present some similar symptoms, unlike fibroids, cysts can contain fluid that can burst and release its contents into the body, that can cause blood poisoning and other illnesses. Also, cysts do not cause menstrual bleeding, but fibroids do.
How dangerous are fibroids? Are they dangerous?
Well, there are potential problems from fibroids. As I say, you may have no symptoms. Mm-hmm. If you're having problems with bleeding, you could become anemic. Mm-hmm. And anemia eventually could lead to problems as severe as heart failure.
Okay.
All right? You may have pelvic pains, chronic pelvic pains, which could affect your personality. It could affect your relationships, because now pelvic pains become a problem.
Okay.
All right? So you may have
that's
or lose
pain in
interest.
General, or that's pelvic pain in regards to sex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
So it can lead to marital disharmony.
Okay.
It could affect you at work, because if you're always having pains or always bleeding, it will affect your work performance. It may lead to absenteeism. And even if your employers might be sympathetic with you initially, they will get tired of you if there's no intervention to deal with these problems.
Do fibroids affect other organs? I know you mentioned it can push up against the bladder or the rectum, but can it affect organs in an adverse way?
Well, you could get compression of the ureters. These are the tubes leading from the kidneys, leading the urine down to the bladder.
Compression in the sense of something pushing against them?
Obstructing the ureter.
Oh, okay.
And this could cause back pressure onto the kidneys, which could have implications if it's going on for years.
Right. Okay.
Fibroids sometimes may begin to invade or take blood from other neighboring organs, and these are called parasitic fibroids.
Okay.
Fibroids, of course, taking blood supply from the intestines, could lead to all sorts of bowel symptoms. So yes, it could affect other organs. Thankfully, this doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
But it's possible.
How can I, as a woman in my reproductive years, lessen the chance or the likelihood of, getting fibroids?
Unfortunately, you can't. It is very common. In fact, in some studies, they refer to 70 to 80% of all women having fibroids in some shape or form.
Right.
However, most fibroids have no symptoms. So not all persons will be affected by their fibroids. Fibroids may vary in size from size of a grain of sand to that of a full-term pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And between the size and their location, it will determine whether or not you're going to have problems from them or not.
They can or cannot be dangerous then? It depends on the size of...
Not necessarily size. In fact, location probably is a bigger factor, just like real estate, in terms of the problems you may have with fibroids.
What's the age bracket for people who may have fibroids?
As I mentioned earlier, fibroids grow during the reproductive years, that is, the years that you're having your period.
Okay.
Not very common in the 20s, although every now and then we do find patients in the 20s.
So
but it's more common. It's more common in the 30s and 40s.
Okay. So I'm 25. Should I be conscious of, maybe I might have fibroids?
Well,
or do I wait until I'm 30 something and say, oh, doctor, I want to check if something is happening?
Well, you should be conscious that these things are possible. Certainly, if there are any symptoms suggestive of fibroids, you certainly should check them out.
Right.
But the point I would like to make is that once you are in the reproductive age group, and especially if you're sexually active, you should be having your annual check.
Right.
So if you have fibroids, even if they're not symptomatic, they should have been picked up.
Right. Right.
You're watching The Good Life with Dr. Milton Hardy. Please stay tuned for more information about uterine fibroids.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Welcome back to The Good Life. This week we are exploring fibroids in women of color with Dr. Milton Hardy. We already discussed fibroids and their symptoms. We'll wrap things up with the various treatment options. But before that, let's find out the answer for this frequently asked question.
So doctor, based on your diagram, a fibroid is a growth, right? An
Yes,
abnormal growth. It's not normal.
Indeed.
And when you think of growths, you think of cancer. Is fibroids cancerous?
Well, growths may be benign, non-cancerous, or they may be cancerous or malignant.
Right.
Fibroids can undergo malignant change, that is, they can become cancerous. However, this happens so infrequently that the answer to your question is no.
Okay.
But it does happen, but it's extremely rare.
How are fibroids usually treated?
Well, sometimes you just watch. There's nothing to do depending on the symptoms the fibroids might be causing or their size. You may need to do intervention, and the nature of the intervention will be governed by the age and the reproductive desires of the patient.
Okay.
Certainly in our population, lots of women in their 30s have not yet had their children. So any treatments that you're offering would be in the direction of womb preservation.
Okay.
Hence, these patients, if they're symptomatic, and symptoms would include fertility issues, they could be offered the operation of myomectomy.
Okay.
Myomectomy being the operation where you remove the fibroids and repairing the uterus so the patient may have an opportunity to bear children in the future. A lady who has completed her family with symptomatic fibroids, you might offer her a hysterectomy if she so desires. Hysterectomy, one of the treatments for patients with symptomatic fibroids, is the removal of the entire uterus. These patients will no longer be able to see periods or have the ability to bear children. These may be accompanied by removal of the ovaries, which would also put the patient immediately into the menopause. Some people may watch a patient who is in her late 40s. Okay. Symptoms might not be so severe, so you try to see if what will come first, the menopause or a worsening of her symptoms, because sometimes you can't wait on the menopause if the symptoms are that severe. So essentially the interventions are mainly surgical. There are medical interventions. There are radiological interventions, because you can have what we call embolization of the artery, the uterine artery, where you tend to try to shut down the blood flow going to the uterus.
Okay.
This, of course, does have its...
To the entire uterus?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Has its implications in that it can only be offered, or should only be offered, to somebody who could have a hysterectomy, if necessary.
Are there any dangers in regards to the surgical treatments for fibroids?
Yes, all surgical interventions, whether they're for fibroids or anything else, have their dangers. What is specific to fibroids and is the control of bleeding at the operation of myomectomy. Now, remember, in doing a myomectomy, you're cutting into a live organ.
A myomectomy, before we continue, is?
The removal of fibroids.
The removal of fibroids.
While preserving the uterus, so that the lady may have the opportunity to have children in the future.
Right, okay.
So you're cutting into a live organ. And bleeding has always been a major problem with this procedure. Some years ago, a team of local gynecologists, led by Professor Joseph Frederick, I'm a member of that team as well, we developed a technique using a drug called vasopressin, which constricts the blood supply, the blood vessels to the uterus, and allows us to cut into that uterus with very little bleeding. The effects of the drug last for about 45 minutes. And this gives you a good head start to get going with your operation. The easier the operation is, the greater the chances that you'll be successful. So this technique, of course, is being used worldwide. It minimizes or reduces the risk or the chances for you needing to transfuse these patients. Because one of the problems with the myomectomy operation was the risk of having to transfuse the patients, because it's a bloody operation.
Right.
So we have made significant strides, and thankfully, I'm happy to say that we have contributed from Jamaica into the development of the treatments of fibroids, certainly in the area of doing the operation of the myomectomy, which is very important because many ladies in the reproductive age group would have been forced to have had a hysterectomy rather than having a chance to have their womb preserved and go on to fulfill their reproductive ambitions.
So let's say I had my fibroids removed.
Yes.
Will they grow back?
They can.
They can?
Yes. Remember, fibroids grow during the reproductive years. A patient who makes fibroids has the potential to keep making fibroids. And if you have had fibroids which are symptomatic, which have triggered intervention in the past, if you're young enough, they shall return, or they might. There are some patients who may not get any regrowth of their fibroids, but some do. And some do get a regrowth of symptomatic fibroids where there needs to be further intervention, that is more surgery.
Do fibroids run in families? As in, if my mother had fibroids, does it mean that I may have?
The cause of fibroids are unknown. Fibroids are more common in the black population.
Right.
Then it stands to reason that if your mother had fibroids, your chances of having fibroids, symptomatic fibroids, are greater than someone who didn't. Okay. Certainly fibroids are detected and they are asymptomatic, then certainly you should be monitored. If they are symptomatic, then you need to have the relevant intervention which might be appropriate for your situation.
Thank you, Dr. Hardy, for your time. I've learned a lot about uterine fibroids, and I know a lot of women are going to be getting their annual checkups a lot more frequently, because I think sometimes we tend to leave that on the back burner. But thank you for your time today, and definitely you guys get your checkups, get your pap smear, And is it one checkup?
Pelvic examination.
So the pelvic exam and the pap smear isn't the same thing?
It's not at the same time.
It's not at the same time? Okay. So get your pelvic examinations and get your pap smears done. I've been your host of The Good Life, Amita Prasad Webb. Until next time, join us again.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canasol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
The use of makeup goes back at least 6,000 years to the Egyptians and the Greeks. Even the Old Testament has recorded its use, with women who painted themselves to look more beautiful. Jamaica is one island with a high cosmetic import bill compared to our Caribbean counterparts, averaging above $3 billion since 2009. Today, the multi-billion-dollar industry has different dynamics compared to centuries before. On this episode of Career Moves, we visit the DeMarie School of Makeup Artistry, where we'll be taking a look at fantasy and special effects makeup.
My name is Dawn Lindo, CEO of DeMarie School of Makeup Artistry. I think the field found me really. My passion was teaching and retail management, so I've done that for many of years for a company called Nordstrom in New Jersey, and moved from New Jersey to Florida and went to apply for a job at this place called Burdines. I think Macy's owned them now, and there was no available positions, but the gentleman said, based on your resume, I'm hiring you. So, showed up the next day for work and someone called out of the Clinique department. You're familiar with Clinique Cosmetics. And I thought, what am I gonna go to Clinique to do? I don't even wear chapstick, I don't wear makeup. But you know, I think literally my life transformed within 2 days of being in Clinique. I saw women coming in to get their makeup done and confidence went from this to this. You know, they finish their makeup and they start fixing their hair, and I thought, okay, something is here. And the young lady that got sick actually just never came back to work. So I stayed with Clinique and did trainings, had to go through school. And because I was already in management, I got promoted to manage Estee Lauder. And that was just amazing. So I've done quite a few of the lines, went back to Clinique to manage for like another 3 or 4 years. And then after moving back to Jamaica and starting the school, I actually went to open the MAC store at Sovereign. So have been in the field for many, many years, since 1998. Fantasy makeup is not the acceptable norm. It's not something you're going to wear out on the road every single day. Sometimes persons throw themes, and you might want to create a makeup that will flow with the themes. Everything tells a story. So that's what fantasy really is. It's your imagination. How far can you go with your imagination and then bringing it to life? All right, so we are cleansing the face because of course, you know, you need a clean palette. I'm using a Smashback Photo Finish primer. Cameras love this because it blocks any form of sheen or any reflection that would come up underneath the makeup. We're going to make her into more of a punk rock girl. So I am going to create like a mask around her eyes, in black of course. Your eyes okay? I'm going to highlight the hair with maybe some pink glitter. This is where my paintbrushes come in. Using L'Oreal, so I'm mixing the N7 and the N8 together. Special effects now, otherwise known as FX makeup, is the blood, the cut, the wounds, the burns, the scars. It's all of those things that we see in the movies but probably don't even realize that that's makeup. The first time I had to do a presentation for Ministry of Education, I used the Thriller video. And everybody was wondering, why are we here watching Michael Jackson? But that was the first time most of the persons who were there were now seeing it as makeup. You watch Thriller and you dance and you understand, but did you stop to think that the zombies, it's makeup? You understand? And that's where special effects fall in. So guys, this week, special effects, right? So we all kind of have an idea of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. In your notes, you would have already have step by step, but just for the demonstration, the first thing you're going to do is just as normal, you're going to clean the area, okay? So your alcohol and your wipes. This is where you would have used your liquid latex, but just showing you different things that you can use. So we're going to substitute the liquid latex for Ponal. We're actually going to use the tissue, right? We're creating flesh. So I'm not gonna go too many layers because we need to dry this and the Ponal might take a little while to dry. You might want to take your tweezer and create where you want your incision before it's too dry. I would encourage you to buy some of the lesser expensive products, if you know, for special effects, because to be using L'Oreal for special effects, that's, you know, quite an amount, all right? You could either use your sponge or if you want to. I use regular paint brushes when I'm doing this because I don't want to ruin my makeup brushes with the glue and all that is happening, right? You could put some powder to set it. What colors do you see when you're doing a wound? You see, right? What else you see? Right, so you'll see like blacks and dark blues and right? No, this is a big cut, so you have to be very realistic when you're doing the blood, right? So this is fake blood, which is already was pre-made. So that's a simple wound, all right? So now that you have the concept, right, you can use that to create other things.
Special effects, fantasy, and one bag of things. Yeah, them something they kill you have and I want to invest in.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
No, I wouldn't. I am a makeup artist myself. I don't really specialize in that, but I just don't see the market for it here in Jamaica.
Yes, there is a market.
Not worth it. My advice is that just go States and just apply a makeup job up there.
Actually, I would consider it because anything having to do with entrepreneurship and working for yourself, I think is good business.
Not in Jamaica. Of course. We have the ability to do it. If you got you take no people and go school for that. Yeah, we can make money from people who want to color them face through carnival, so them put on what you call it.
Them have a technique. I don't think Jamaica is equipped for that and all those things.
To me, there is a market for it. Might not be as much as if you were abroad, but there are people who will pay.
No, I'm going to dead for hungry.
I think it would do well abroad because, you have a lot of production in movies and stuff like that.
Them not going to pay them. Special effects, fantasy, and one bag of things. Yeah, them something they kill you have and I want to invest in.
I think it is good. It is good out here. It is a good option. Yeah.
Special effects and fantasy makeup is still relatively new to Jamaica. But for those who already have an interest in makeup, Dawn Linda highlights how to be on your way to become certified.
To get started, I think the first thing you need is a passion for the field. It can't be that, oh, it's making money and I want to do it. You have to have a passion for the field. We're licensed with City and Guilds of London, so we're an accredited center. City and Guilds allow us to take them at 16. The truth is, we always say you have to complete high school because the level of work that goes on, you really have to be socially intelligent. They really have to be able to handle the coursework.
As you can see, I'm not there yet. I'm getting there though.
Persons come and they just want to get started right away. I mean, what is the history? Where did makeup come from? How did it start? What inspired it? And when we take persons through that, through the history of makeup, they develop a better love and respect for the industry. There are several areas that are covered in addition to the makeup units. It's like I said, the career industry, right? So you might come here and you might learn all these different areas of makeup, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you go out to bridal makeup. You could choose, like you said, special effects, and you could specialize in that, and you only work theater. Or you work movies, right? You'll have persons who they like the fantasies, so they do the face paintings and the fancy stuff. You'll have persons who choose the runway, so they really just focus on high fashion makeup. So there's really so much more, and education. I mean, makeup schools are looking for trained teachers, and what we find is a lot of makeup artists, but they're not trained teachers. So, you know, we have had students who have come through our doors and then go on to do their teaching and training certificate so they can turn around and also teach. And that's something that we offer too, teaching and training. For the teaching and training, it's a advanced diploma. It's also with City and Guilds. Now you need to either have a first degree to enter, because we're only teaching you how to teach. So we only cover the aspects of teaching. We expect or we require you to have a first degree, or for persons who have already gone through one of our programs, the certificate that they would have gotten from here would qualify them to enter into the teaching and training program. And it is also accepted by Ministry of Education. I was doing a research recently, and it stated that by 2016, the beauty industry is expected to do $60.2 billion, okay? Now, think about this. This is a recession-free business. It's one of those businesses that no matter what is going on in the economy, persons see it fit to make sure that they look good. When you look good, you feel good. I don't think anybody will fight against that, right? And so number one, it is a recession-free business. Now, like I said, image is everything.
Makeup may not be for everyday use, but as certain key industries evolve, its need will become more apparent, and it's hoped that more employment opportunities will become available.
A lot more persons, even our men, are becoming more conscious. Now, they're not necessarily wearing makeup, but they're spending more time cleaning their face, putting on a little moisturizer. I mean, skin cancer is real. It is real. And unfortunately, especially for us black folks, we feel we already have so much melanin in our skin, so we don't need sun protection, but we do. So a lot more persons are becoming more educated of the industry. And then TV, I mean, just everywhere you turn. Look at the fashion industry, look at where it has evolved to. You need makeup for all of that. Or entertainers, look at where reggae music has gone, look at the videos. Every day somebody is shooting something, every day. So you realize that the need for good makeup artists, I mean, it's there. It's gonna take a little while for us to market ourselves, and not only that, for people to believe in us, because we still get to the place where persons would rather bring in a makeup artist from overseas to do a workshop than ask somebody in Jamaica. So, you know, it's like we still have that mindset where we think we don't produce anything good, but we do have good, talented, amazing people in Jamaica. And this is why I now up more to the classroom versus being out there on set. It has to start with training. No longer can we see ourselves as middle makeup, you know. That's not what this is. This is my life. This is my career. And just like you'd have to go to school for however long it takes you to become a doctor, and the respect is there, I think we have to start treating the art, whether it's makeup or visual arts or whatever art, we have to start treating that way, but I believe it starts with us. I was walking down Clock Tower and a young lady, Browning, you do your nails, you do your hair. And if that's how we're treating the industry, then nobody's really gonna take us seriously. So I think, you know, first the teachers, we have to show a level of professionalism and what the industry really is, because a lot of persons do. I still have students who come and we tune to the program. They're like, oh my God, I never knew that. There's so many areas to makeup than just putting on some makeup. I'm not taking up a brush under $5,000, and I'm going to be honest with you.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Makeup artists still face difficulties with being adequately paid for their work. But Dawn stresses that artists must be first in developing respect for their craft for others to follow suit.
Unfortunately, people still look at it as, I just want a little makeup. It's not just a little makeup. I'm not taking up a brush under $5,000. And I'm going to be honest with you. I can't go to the doctor and say, I just have a little headache. Whatever the symptoms are, I have to pay whatever the fees are. If you go to pick up your results, you still have to pay that fee. So it's what it is. And I think persons need to start looking at makeup as a career. You can barely find a foundation for $2,000. No, you're not gonna use one whole foundation on someone, but your time and a collection of all the products. I have all prestige brands in my kit. No, for somebody to offer me $2,000 to spend half an hour, it's gonna cost me more than that just to spend half an hour. We have to get to the place where we stop looking at it as the look of makeup. The compensation rate, for example, a regular somebody, going to a business meeting and want to get their makeup done. Depending on the brands that you're using, that can be anywhere between $3,500 and $5,000, all right? If persons want lashes, it depends again on the lashes that you're using. You have lashes from, I think, like $100 at the wholesale, but you also have lashes that goes up to $2,000. So if I'm using a pair of $2,000 lashes on you, obviously you can't pay me $2,500 to do your makeup. You understand? Brides depend on if you're doing airbrush, if you're doing airbrush makeup or if you're doing regular makeup, that can start anywhere from $6,000 up to about $8,500 for the bride alone. If it's for movies, then obviously it's not going to be a per person situation. So that's something that you'll definitely have to create a package. That's going to depend on how many days are you shooting, what is the duration of the shoot itself. For something like a regular photo shoot, 6-8 hours, sometimes it might run over. You will have something that runs you about $35,000 and up. And again, depending on the length of the shoots, how many models, how many touch-ups and so forth. So most of the time you might have to custom build a package for a client. Quite a number of artists, but some of the ones that Jamaica on a whole might know. Sashana Cole, she's the owner of All Dolled Up Cosmetics. Makeup by Kellyanne Jones. And again, earlier we spoke about different career choice. Now these are makeup artists, but they don't necessarily go out to do makeup. They have makeup businesses, so they have makeup stores.
My name is Kellyanne Jones. I'm a professional makeup artist. I go by the name Kelly J. Prior to taking the class at DeMarie, I used to do makeup on my own. However, I felt the need to go and learn more because I felt that I wasn't grasping it properly. In terms of when I spoke with Dawn at the time, I said to her, Dawn, I really need to learn how to do this eyeshadow blending. I feel like that's my downfall. Not only I kind of build on my confidence, but I think that the class has helped me to gain popularity. When you go to companies to get work, they normally ask who you're accredited to or who you get certified with. I know I can honestly say, hey, I got my certification at DeMarie and it's internationally certified. with City and Guild and all of that.
Another one of our students is Jaden Campbell, and the lipstick I'm actually wearing is from her line of lipstick, and it's called Carib Scene, as you can see. So this is the blue that I'm wearing today, and this is called Glamorous, of course. Jaden is 19 years old, you know, with her own business. Some of the other past students who are now teachers, Monique Witter, her Instagram name is I Am Mo Wit. We have Kimon Kane, Jamaica knows her as Kim Kelly. We have Jody McIntyre, Jay Cespedes, she's also a teacher but makeup artist. Jody actually teaches face and body painting. Tiffany Bird, Tiffany's doing amazing. She really specializes in special effects.
A friend of mine introduced me to Dee Marie. Her name is Shauna, and she started teaching me special effects, and from someone she helped me through.
Paints like a picture, sings like a melody. Law of attraction feels like chemistry.
I do find it satisfying because I really love what I do, and the reaction on the person's face after finishing my project. They can't believe what I've done, especially if it's the first time seeing it done. It's really satisfying.
I think persons you really need to have a passion for makeup in order to want to do makeup. And funny enough, you know, you realize that most of the students that come to us, most of the time you're not even teaching them anything new. You help pull out what is already within them, all right? So for me, have a passion, have a passion. And once you have the passion, you will find the personality. You have to be pleasant and you have to be patient. For example, if you're dealing with a whole production, you're dealing with models, you're dealing with cast members, you're dealing with photographers, videographers, you're dealing with a lot of persons, and when you're on set, it's not always peaches and cream. Things go wrong, and you can't have the makeup artist having outburst or, you know, a nasty attitude, because then nobody will want to refer you. And in this business, trust me, we need the referral. So I would definitely say have a strong passion, be patient, and just really, really have a pleasant personality. And that's a wrap.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs to fund for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2-3 years the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start the production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected, and then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the next level, as well as some persons that are coming with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're